And we are back. Smartest Guy in My Head podcast, Workhorse Media Group. And today we've got a movie to review. Yay, snaps all around like it's poetry. If you are one of the 6 people that didn't know, Coming to America, the sequel, because the original is also called Coming to America. So I'll just, from here on, I'll just call it the sequel or the original. So Coming to America, the sequel, it released this past week on Amazon Prime. And I, for one, was super excited about this movie. I know it's kind of iffy because the track record with movies that release the sequel 20 plus years later is not good. Dumb and Dumber comes to mind. Zoolander is another one. It usually doesn't work out, but scratch all that because Coming to America, the original, is one of my personal favorites. It's one of the most quoted movies that we have in my personal group chat. It's just a fan favorite and it's near and dear to my heart. So when I saw the trailer for this one earlier this year, I was like, all right, forget the storyline. I'm just happy to see Eddie Murphy and the entire cast back. So without talking way too long on this intro, we'll talk about, wait. Spoiler alert. So I don't even know if you can spoil comedy movies because it's just like jokes. So, but anyway, in case I do, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it first, then come back here. If you don't care, stay here. I'm gonna talk about it anyway, but I'm just letting you know, spoilers might happen here. So, all right, back to what I was saying. Here's what I watched. Okay, Coming to America, the sequel, stars Eddie Murphy. He's back. He's Prince Akeem, and this time around, Prince Akeem, he's early on in the movie. He's still a prince, but he eventually becomes king, and he has to have an heir to the throne, obviously. But he only has daughters, and in Zamunda, you know, it's nice to have a son as opposed to a daughter to be the king, so your daughter doesn't have to marry off into a male. You know how that goes. So Eddie Murphy, Prince Akeem, he finds out that he has a son through some hijinks in Queens as a result of the original Coming to America. So he travels to America. He finds his son, which is Jermaine Fowler. His name is Lavelle in the movie. He brings Lavelle back to Zamunda. He tries to teach him the customs of the country. He tries to prep him in preparation to becoming king, and it kind of is not working. So he's trying though. He's trying. Now Akeem has kind of other reasons, not just having a son, trying to make him become a king. We'll get into that later. But the crux of the movie is Akeem goes to get his son, brings him back, tries to teach him how to become a king. And then funny stuff is supposed to happen. I say supposed to. And I got the rest of the time to talk about what I don't like about the movie. So I'll just jump right into what I did like. Now, I don't know this to be just a positive characteristic of the movie itself, but I personally just loved seeing the original cast back. I mean, especially in times that we've seen in the past year plus, you never know. You never know. With health-wise, anything can happen. But with this movie, you pretty much got everybody back, except the mom's name slips my mind. Dang it. But dang it. I think she's the only one that has passed away since the original movie. But you still got Eddie Murphy. You got pretty much everybody. Arsenio Hall. You got James Earl Jones. Anybody, John Amos, anybody that you can think of that was in the original movie, they are back. And then Eddie Murphy has his characters that he played, you know, in the barbershop, Sexual Chocolate. All these characters are back. So that's just a joy to see. It's nice. It's nice. When you take a risk and you do sequels 20, 30 years plus, you never know what can happen. Not just death, but people could have fallen off the wagon. People could just look bad. Too bad for makeup to even fix. And everybody looks really good in this movie, and they are back, and I'm happy that they are back. Now on to positive characteristics of the movie. Wesley Snipes, he is General Izzy in the movie. I loved Wesley Snipes in this movie. He was just a joy. He was really funny. You can tell he was having a blast on camera, and he brought something new to the movie, and it helped build on the movie's legacy. Like, he fit into this world, and that's important because we'll get to that in a second. But General Izzy was an addition that felt like it fit right into the world. Like, it didn't feel out of place. And like I said, Wesley Snipes, he was having a ball. He was really funny in the movie, and he interacted well, and it meshed well with the rest of the movie. I enjoyed Wesley Snipes. I enjoyed the interactions between the original cast. I loved Eddie Murphy. He was still in his character. He was still in rare form. Eddie Murphy is just comedic genius. Anytime he's on camera, you can tell he's just owning the scene. So I love Eddie Murphy, and I love him interacting with the other characters of the old movie. It just brought back memories. Maybe it was nostalgia, but I did personally enjoy those two parts of the movie. That's about where it stops. So the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was intrigued. I was into it. I was really liking it. But I had heard rumors that the movie wasn't that good. Spoiler alert here. It wasn't. Here's what I didn't like. All right. So I'm gonna try to keep this short. There is a good sequel in Coming to America, the sequel. There's a good movie in there, and they touched on it at the beginning. At the beginning, Prince Akeem, he's out there, he's sparring with his daughters with the sticks, you know, the kind of fighting thing. And as James Earl Jones, King Joffrey, as he's on his deathbed, he's chastising Akeem because he doesn't have a male heir, or that he knows of. But King Joffrey knows that Prince Akeem has an heir, a male heir in America, but he's chastising for not having one in Zamoon. So the whole thing about the movie is that the oldest daughter, I don't know her name in the movie, that's how insignificant she was, and I'll get to that in a little bit. The oldest daughter has been prepping herself because she knows her dad doesn't have a male heir, so she's been prepping herself to become queen. So she's been training to become queen, thinking that, you know, she was next in line. So she gets skipped in line because Prince Akeem has to go to America to get his illegitimate son. All right, the thing about this is, I'm sure Jermaine Fowler has fans out there. I only know him from Sorry to Bother You, especially the clip where he's with Lakeith Stanfield, and they're just like, you smell good, what you got on? No, what you got on? No, drinks on me, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, that scene gets shared everywhere. It's probably got 1 billion views. That's the only thing I really know him from. I'm sure he has fans though, but I'm not sure why he was cast here. And I'm not sure why he was cast the way he was cast. He played it like somebody told him to go out there and just do what you think Kevin Hart would do in this situation. And it's just not, it's not good. It's not good enough. The original Coming to America, it's not like it was some big, you know, complicated plot. It was just a simple story. It was a fish out of water story. Eddie Murphy, he played Prince Akeem. He was from Africa, and he traveled to America to kind of find his love. So he was with his own African traditions in Queens, New York. And he had to try to find out how to learn. He had to try to learn how to adapt and mesh with American culture. But what made the original Coming to America work is that Eddie Murphy is a comedic genius. His charisma carried the movie. So you can put a simple story and give it to somebody like Eddie Murphy and just tell him to go do his thing and it'll work. That does not work here. You take Jermaine Fowler, he doesn't have that charisma that Eddie Murphy has. He doesn't have the charismatic or the comedic genius, the comedic timing that Eddie Murphy has. I'm sure the dude is funny. He probably killed it in his casting call, but the way they played it, it was not good. I can see how they try to parallel the movies, you know, Akeem coming from Africa, you know, being the fish out of water in America. Now Lavelle going from America, being the fish out of water in Africa. That just didn't work though. Because as soon as Jermaine Fowler and Leslie Jones entered the picture in the movie, it felt like two completely different movies. Like it didn't mesh well at all. It went from being Coming to America, and it was just like Coming to America meets, you know, early 2000s black comedian comedy movie. Like Coming to America meets Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins, but with significantly less funny people than Martin Lawrence and Mike Epps or Monique. The way they played it, it just wasn't funny. It took up too much. I was waiting the whole time for, you know, a blood test to come back to say Lavelle wasn't really his son, and then he can flip the script, and then Prince Akeem can really train his daughter in becoming the queen. But that never happened, and they really went along with this storyline that just was, it wasn't good. The better movie would see that, like, Prince Akeem, because in the original movie, Prince Akeem, he was set up for an arranged marriage, but he didn't go through with an arranged marriage. So a better movie would see Prince Akeem flip the script in Zamunda and say, no, I'm not setting my daughter up with an arranged marriage because I didn't have one. So I'll let her, you know, do her own thing. And then you can still have Wesley Snipes come in and try to, like in the movie, Wesley Snipes tried to send his son at first to King Akeem's daughter so they can get married and repair relations between their two different nations, because Wesley Snipes is the leader of another nation or whatever, and they're trying to avoid war, so they're trying to like come together, whatever. And Eddie Murphy or Prince Akeem's whole thing is that his dad told him he was weak, so he was basically not going to be a good king of the country. They're going to try to kill him. But that's not really a big thing, but that's why he wants another heir, so the heir can get killed instead of him. So it's kind of a selfish reason, but that's not really fleshed out. It's just kind of played for a laugh and then go on about his business. But a better movie would have seen Wesley Snipes propose one of his sons to King Akeem's daughter to try to get them to come together. So for like political reasons, they can get together, and you can still have Wesley Snipes in the movie because Wesley Snipes, again, was great. And then you can just stay in Zamunda with Eddie Murphy's daughters, and because all three of them, I was interested in them. They are interesting. Let's flesh that out. Let's keep going with this women empowerment. Push her, I don't even know her name, push her to the forefront, because she had, the only thing she did in this movie, in the actual movie, is just react to people saying that Lavelle is the next heir. Like every scene she had was just her looking and being like, every time somebody said that he was heir, and that's all she did. Or let me back up, because if you're saying no to that, then let me back up. If you're saying no to the pitch I just gave, because it's called Coming to America and they won't ever go to America, one, watch the movie if you haven't and tell me how long they stay in America. Spoiler alert, it's not very long. And two, that's easily fixable. You can just say, all right, the eldest daughter is like, I never get out of Zamunda. I want to see where you and mom met. And then boom, they can take a trip back to America. The whole family can take a trip to America. Or if you want to keep what you had, you could have just made Lavelle kind of a shy guy, and he like to himself. Lavelle was just kind of a loudmouth, and that just did not work for this movie. Him and his family was a loudmouth. He could have been the shy guy, and Akeem could have pulled it out of him to try to be a king, because that parallels what Akeem did. Akeem wasn't a shy man going from Africa to America. He was a prince. He walked around with that confidence, but that could have been a different dynamic if he had a son that wasn't like him at all. I've gotten way too deep. The movie isn't good. The storyline goes off the rails the second they pick up Jermaine Fowler, I'm sorry. The second they pick up Jermaine Fowler and bring him into the movie goes nowhere. All of the resolutions are done off camera. if they have a problem, if somebody has a problem with somebody else in the movie, they're going to have the problem with each other. Next scene, when you see them back together, they're going to be like cool. And we hadn't seen why they're cool. It doesn't make sense. I've gone this long because there's a good movie in there. We just didn't see it. Very disappointed. If you are interested, if you are like me and you're a fan of the original and you just want to see it because it's out, go watch it. If you're a fan of Jermaine Fowler, Leslie Jones, go watch it. Eddie Murphy isn't even in the movie like a whole lot. He's a main character, but he's not in a whole lot. But if you just for nostalgia reasons want to go watch it, go see it. But my final verdict on it is just that this movie was not it. It's not it. But I'm willing. I want to see more Eddie Murphy movies. He's been gone too long. I love Eddie Murphy. Coming to America, the sequel. That ain't the one. That's it. Probably gone way too long, but sorry. I was passionate about this. Stay tuned.